Oh my goodness, come on in, everybody. All right. Let's take this down. All right, everybody, thank you all so much for being here. For anybody new here, hi, I am Maggie. I have a cooking channel. I make food and femininity content. And on my own femininity journey, I have sought out lots of different teachers and courses and classes and everything that I can do to be the best version of myself. And I am so honored today that I have a very special guest that I am going to introduce to class. I would love to welcome you all to meet Miss Alice Muhiriwar. I hope I didn't butcher your last name. Miss Alice, please introduce yourself to the class.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Coach Alice Mohira. I'm an executive coach. I help female executives to build their image, presence, and presentation skills so that they become more convincing and converting, both in their professional and romantic space.
I am so excited to talk to Miss Alice. So if you all do not know her, I have linked her website in the description. Her website is elevatewithalice.com. So we're going to get to know Alice, and I have a list of questions here that I'm going to be looking down and asking her. But before we begin, we have a little something in common, Miss Alice. Would you please share with the class where you are dialing in from today?
I'm dialing in from Kenya, Nairobi precisely, Africa. Yeah.
I am so excited. So I think most of everyone knows here, I'm actually from West Africa. So I was born in Ghana, but raised in the US. Absolutely. So fellow Africans here definitely want to expose the community because etiquette and elegance is a global concept. So I want to make sure that my scholars know that. So I've been to South Africa, and this summer I'll be going to North Africa. I'll be going to Egypt. I haven't made my way to East Africa yet. So would you tell us one thing about your beautiful country, and then we'll get started?
Oh, where do I start? East Africa is full of beauty. When you come to Kenya, go to Masai Mara to check all the big fives. We are very rich in culture. Then go to Serengeti and then come back to the silverback in Rwanda, and you visit East Africa is just a relief of beauty.
Yes, and I encourage you all to follow Miss Alice on her socials. She has pictures and videos of her being out in nature, and it is absolutely stunning. Okay, so let us begin. So we've got an hour with Miss Alice. So one of the things that I was interested in when I came across her content was this notion of assertive femininity. And to me, it seemed like those two words were opposites of each other, but I love how you describe that. Can you tell the class what it actually means?
Uh, Assertive femininity is a concept that I often explore with my clients. There is this classic approach of femininity, thinking that a woman needs to be traditionally soft, traditionally laid back. Assertive femininity refers to the ability of embodying what I call divine trait of a feminine woman, such as empathy, nurturing, emotional intelligence, while maintaining a strong sense of confidence, self assurance, capacity to assert one's boundaries and opinion. That's how the element of assertiveness comes in. Most of feminine women have the tendency of being so dependent, so laid back, so reserved. So they lack that element of being assertive to pursue what they are meant to pursue, what I call divine traits, divine purpose. Yeah. In coaching session, I always focus on demonstrating how a woman should culture a holistic understanding of their unique strengths and qualities. I encourage them to embrace and how to leverage both your divine feminine attributes and assertiveness. This involves a lot of understanding and unlearning of what is a feminine approach of being soft. Because you can still be a feminine woman without necessarily a softer voice. Being a feminine woman is being home, being in yourself. Where the word comes, assertive femininity is all about promoting a balanced and empowered expression of femininity, allowing women to navigate the challenges of this world with confidence, resilience, and authenticity. Yeah.
I love that. That's really beautiful because you've really opened my mind as to how we can still be feminine in the modern world that we live in, which is very fast paced, it's very competitive. And so it's not about losing your voice or losing yourself, but being able to maintain your femininity, but still live a life on purpose. So I really love that. All right, my next question is, was femininity ever a challenge for you? And maybe you can describe a time when you weren't always this beautiful feminine woman, because I know it's a journey and I've struggled with it too.
Yes. No, I wasn't. Femininity has been a challenge for me since childhood, actually. Being a firstborn child and being a firstborn of six girls, I, myself and my two youngest sisters were the boys that our parents never had. We used to mostly play boys' games, going to karate, going to to boxing, doing things that are really boys' activity, and being raised by an achiever woman who would tell us to be very competitive, both socially and academically. So I knew that I have to compete to get what I desire. There was no element of softness in my growth as a child. And then when I lost my parents at a very young age, I was 13 precisely. Being an orphan also brought another layer of now being self reliant, being combative, knowing that no one is coming for me. So I had to extremely work hard and hide my emotions, um, working so hard because I believed I can only survive. There was no sense of worthiness at all. So growing up with that level of poor mindset or fixed mindset, I could not believe anything of any sort of worthiness. I knew that I have to work hard for me to survive and to make a living and to also sustain my youngest sisters. I carried that spirit in my relationships. I mean, when I was trying to date, I'm trying so much to be loved. I'm trying so much to be understood, trying so much to be seen and to be heard. People pleasing comes the norm, and no boundaries, fear to negotiate what you deserve. I went with that spirit in the career space where I can't speak my mind because I will be fired, or where I can't speak my mind because I will be looked upon. So I would people please throughout. So femininity for me was a challenge, number one. I used to admire women who are feminine. I could see a woman who is soft, who is poised, who is elegant, and I just long that. And this is also one indicator that tells you that regardless of the challenges that you're going on, don't consider yourself as a tomboy. If you look at feminine women and you envy them and you like them, but you, for some reason, because of the situation or the things that you're going through, you think, no, I don't belong here. That's how I came to understand that actually I can be feminine because I'm able to admire femininity in other women. So growing up in those challenges, being failed my first marriage, um, made me come to understand that naturally I am not a hard person. I yet became hard because of circumstances and life challenges and adversities that I went through. So rewiring and unlearning all that brought me here. So I had to have that understanding, acceptance that I need to work on myself. I need to rewire my belief system, my mindset, and then rediscover the woman I want to be. And then I started embodying that woman, which is the version that you see today.
Oh my goodness, such a beautiful story. I do see some questions coming in from the chat, so I'll save them towards the end if you're okay to take questions. You said so much there, Coach Alice, that I've heard a lot of women say, and I can relate to too, whether you were in your example being firstborn of a big family, being orphaned as a teenager and having to grow up very quickly. For some of us, it could be very demanding jobs. It could be being a boy mom. It could be anything in life that kind of makes you think to be successful, you have to take on these masculine traits. And a lot of us have to fight against that, excuse me, and remind ourselves that we are feminine and you can be assertive and maintain your femininity. That's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay, so the next question I have, you've probably already answered it, but if you have a success story where you turned it around, but I think in your life experience, was there a moment in time where you said, this way is not working and I'm going to be feminine on purpose?
Yes, yes. Especially, in fact, my masculine trait or my masculine behaviors, I knew I was a very tough girl since teenagehood. People used to tell me like that. Friends used to tell me like that. Family members used to tell me like that. But for some reason, I didn't. I thought that's how I was born, and that's how I am. Eh, Until you choose to work on yourself, you will never realize how poor you are as a human being. I mean, poor in terms of emotions and poor in terms of wholeness as a human being. So when I started, why everyone else think that I'm tough? And after some time, people would come and say, "Oh, I didn't know you were this soft. I didn't know you are a good person until I get to know you in person." At the workplace, people I used to work with, I was a CEO of a research center, and I used to be told, "You're very tough." Oh my God.
Perfect time, I know.
I used to be told that, "Alice, you're very tough. You're very, very tough." And inside, I would question myself, am I really tough? Or I'm trying to put a face so that I can come across as someone who's serious. I didn't know how to communicate with a stronger gravitas and yet maintain the softer part.
I love that. It really talks about striking a balance between that femininity and being assertive. I love that. And we're going to get into some of the services that you offer because you have courses and coaching and how people can connect with you.
Yes.
What can all women do if they want to be feminine? I know people have different opinions about it. One of the things my man says is, Maggie, y'all are already feminine. You just have to stop fighting it. But where would you advise a woman to begin her feminine journey?
Uh, for those who really want to embrace or allow their femininity to flow, because we all are born with that portion of feminine and masculinity in us. It's what you choose to inhibit or what you choose to exude that makes us differ from one another. I would say a woman who would really want to exude more of her feminine side, it's important also to recognize that femininity can be expressed in different ways that are unique to each individual. But here are a few things that I suggest that I commonly advise to my clients to work on if they really want to improve on their femininity that has been suppressed for a very long time. Number one is to culture your confidence. Cultivate self confidence by setting and achieving personal goals, speaking up for yourself, and embracing your strength and ability unapologetically. Number two is to build a personal style that speaks for yourself. Wearing clothing that makes you feel comfortable and confident. Find a style that reflects your personality and makes you feel good about yourself. Don't try to wear things. There are people who think being feminine is to wear heels and scattered plaits and pearls. There's nothing wrong about that, but it has to first work on the inner part of you as a person. So finding, if you say, for example, my personal style is simple and elegant. If I choose to wear simple and elegant, how is the choice of my hair? How is the choice of my clothes? How is the choice of the makeup that I choose to put? How does it reflect authenticity since my personal brand is authenticity? When people look at you, when people read what you write, is the tone still maintained? When you want to build a personal brand that reflects who you are as a person, it passes across what you wear, what you speak, what you write, the tone in your writing, the tone in your social media posts, the tone in your email. Does it reflect simplicity? Does it reflect assertiveness? Does it reflect elegance? When you are building that feminine gravitas, you have to work on all that. So that is improving on your personal style, and then also enhance your feminine traits. Embrace your divine feminine traits such as empathy, compassion, be a nurturing person, having that high sense level of emotional intelligence. Ground yourself often. If you really want to work on your femininity, number one element is to be at peace with yourself, not being a woman who is all over. Being grounded is going to help you improve on your intuition, improve on listening and having a sense of predicting things that are about to happen, having a sense of discernment. All that cannot happen if you are a busybody person. That's why you have to be that sense of being grounded. Okay? Being grounded, embracing ease, not moving from a thing to another, embracing ease, inviting ease in your life, embracing ease in your daily calendar, having the sense of kindness, increase your level of kindness, be supportive to other people. Don't have jealousy about other. Have a sense of collaborating. If I wasn't um, a feminine coach, I would have not come to collaborate with Maggie on this live since I know even her, she's championing femininity. I would see her as a competition. But when you are a feminine woman, you are open. You are open to help others. You're open for collaboration. You are open for nurturing other people. It is easy to mentor. People find peace. People find life talking to you. Because in our nature, one of our divine assignment as women is to nurture. It's not to nurture the people that we birth, but also to nurture the humanity in general.
That was so powerful, Coach Alice. Two things that you said that I'm taking away. I love what you just said about being open as a feminine woman and embracing others in the same space, because being competitive is a masculine trait. And a lot of women don't realize that, just like pride and all of these things that show up more masculine. So if you want to be a feminine woman, being open, being willing to learn. And what you said about slowing down and embracing ease, that is probably one of the big ones for me. I've had to learn the hard way that elegance is not rushed. And my man tells me all the time, just sit down somewhere. You're always doing stuff. And I have to remember, like, slow down. It's okay. And then the first thing that you said that really touched me about the consistency in the way we show up. So, however we describe ourselves, if I say I want to be an elegant woman, that means there's an elegant way of dress, of makeup, of hair, of course, but there's also an elegant way that you speak. There's also an elegant way that you write. That trait should show up as like a red thread in everything that you do. I thought that was incredible. Oh, I'm learning so much. I would love to ask you next, what are some misconceptions about femininity? You talked a little bit about this in the beginning, but can you expound on what people think femininity is that's not true?
Yeah. So, for example, people think being a feminine woman is dressing in a girly manner, wearing skirts, earrings, and all that. That makes you look like a, that gives you a lady look, like you look like a lady, but you don't look like feminine. Being feminine has those attributes that I mentioned, that you are fluid, you are nurturing, you are kind, you are adaptive, you are a multiplier. Everyone who comes closer to you cannot just go the way they came. There is something that you give. You speak power, you speak life, you give life to everything that comes to your hand. That's what is a feminine woman, because the feminine essence of a woman was to be a multiplier. The first woman that was created to be a helper. You cannot help in stillness. You cannot help without working. You cannot help without that function of adding value. That's why a feminine woman, the number one indicator of a feminine woman is that that feminine woman will add value wherever she steps in.
Oh my goodness. I wish I could just drop the mic. The number one quality of a feminine woman is that she adds value. This is so important. And, I have a heart for the older women teaching the young, but I think young people get confused with, the traits that last the test of time, and just, looking a certain way or thinking you have on a certain label. That doesn't make you a feminine woman. I love that.
And another misconception that I see that is very trendy, and I don't know, I feel like this is a microwave femininity of telling women to be totally dependent on men, to make women feel like if you are a worker, you are a hard worker, if you are an ambitious woman, if you are pursuing your talent, your business, and pursuing to earn more money, then you are obviously a masculine woman. That's a very misleading conception of femininity. Femininity should add value. So I call upon all the Black girls, all the Black women to be fearless in making money, to be fearless in pursuing what they love doing the most, to be fearless when it comes to pursuing their dream, and just add a twist on it to just become softer, not arrogant. Because that is also another aspect that I've seen most Black girls struggle with. Whenever you become more successful financially, you tend to be very arrogant on men. And that's how we end up repelling men, because we think we are sufficient, we think we can afford everything, we feel like we don't need a man, or if we need one, he has to be like our toy. So a divine instance of a woman who is successful needs to remember the aspect of being a helper, to come adding value to their spouse, to adding value to their community, adding value to their companies, adding value to their environment. It has nothing to do with dependence. Femininity has nothing to do with dependence. Femininity has nothing to do with doing softer things. There are people who think that for you to nurture femininity, you have to go to dance class, you have to do yoga, you have to do, those Indian dance and all that. No, you can still be a feminine boxer, a woman who does boxing, but you can still be feminine. Yes, you can be a car racer if race course is one of your hobby, as long as you have what you do to help you come back to yourself, fetching the balance. Femininity is not expressed or defined by the sport that you do. It doesn't get defined by the hobby that you choose to do. Femininity is the essence of your embodiment, how you choose to show up as a person. That's what is going to define your level, either high or low, of your feminine energy.
That is so good. And thank you for saying that. I know your clients are often executive women, and I think that should be very liberating for women. You don't have to push down your drive or your accomplishments, but there's a balance, like you said, in maintaining that softness. I love that, and being able to return to it. What if a woman doesn't feel feminine? What if she kind of has a negative connotation about femininity? What would you tell her?
I would tell her to visit herself again. Any woman who feels triggered by the aspect of femininity, it's because they're still battling themselves. They're still battling who they are. They have not rediscovered themselves. They're still battling with their insecurities. They're still full of themselves. They're still at that initial phase where we used to be. So when you are not in your country, they're still in their refugee camp. That's what I call it. Because when you don't know your personal identity as a woman, you try to be a man. And when you live in that manhood, you are trying to find citizenship where you are a refugee. You are refugee. Yes, because you are running away from your identity. Those are refugees. You're running away from your feminine identity. Then you took refuge in being masculine. I call them emotional refugees because you choose to embody the masculine version, you choose to empower the masculine version of you and suppress the feminine version of you. You will forever be triggered by a woman who has been able to claim her citizenship in femininity.
That was another so beautifully said. When you have not claimed your femininity, then you embrace becoming a man. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to listen to that one again. That was incredible. And
And when you do that, when you choose to chase being a man, you are wasting your time. Because when you try to be a man, you're missing out on being a woman. And this is why you will find that this is how you actually realize that you are choosing to become a man instead of being a woman. You will have many male friends because you're very comfortable with men who consider you like their sister, who even take you out and you drink. They can smoke around you, they can talk weird jokes about women around you, they can even bring or do things, date their women, even ask your opinion about the women they are dating, but they can never date you because they don't see you as a potential date. Who is like that? Comment below and tell us who is like that. You have many male buddies, you talk almost everything, they're your best friends, you go out with them, you do programs with them, but none in the group. Sometimes you might even find that you have a crush among the group. There's somebody that you crush on, but he's always busy showing you, hey, what do you think of this girl? What do you think of this girl? Because they don't see you as a dateable woman. They just see you as a body. You are as masculine as them. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That right there, ladies, you heard it from Coach Alice. Do you want to be a dateable woman or do you want to be one of the boys? Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Okay. Wow, that one right there, that just stopped me in my tracks. But I want to keep going because I do want to get to the questions. You all comment and let us know if this is resonating with you. I've got a few more questions and then we'll take you all's questions. So, as an executive coach, Coach Alice, how does femininity help women at work? Because I think this is another misconception that feminine traits are only outside of the workplace. But for your clients, what do you tell them about how femininity is an asset at work?
Femininity is an icebreaker in the feminine world. Is an icebreaker in the feminine world because when you carry in femininity, that softer part of you, it helps you not to dwell into those masculine traits. You don't have to shout in meetings. You don't have to take 101 tasks at a time. You don't have to take impossible schedules to please people, to please your bosses. You don't have to carry on work at home when you have that assertive femininity. It's going to help you to claim your position. It is going to help you claim your race when it is time to do so in a softer manner. You don't have to shout, you don't have to imply to those toxic masculine traits. Because in boardrooms, here is what happens to women. They tend to imitate men, imitate male's tone when they are speaking, male gestures, so that they can pass across as serious and and good leaders. But when you are a woman with such kind of character, the same men are going to resist you because you're trying to compete them. But when you lead with softness, understanding, and nurturing, they tend to support you because you're bringing an element that they don't have. All of a sudden, everyone is coming to help you. Everyone is coming to understand you. Everyone wants to be in your team. People who are listening to us, tell us there is this girl in your office. In every office, there is this kind of woman. She does less. She doesn't even dress the most appealing style. She's just in her corner, but all of a sudden, everyone she steals attention from everyone. Why? Because her energy is right. And there is this woman who is always pretty. She's on point. She dressed impeccably. She's dressed to kill all the time. But when she speaks, she has arrogance in her mouth. She's competitive. She's trying to show off. She's trying to deem everyone in the team. And what does the team does? They resist her Yes, they resist her, they don't help her. When there is work to do, when there is a chance to pin her down, they will do twice. And this is what happens when you bring feminine or when you bring masculine energy in boardrooms. People will resist you. People will
Un-
resist.
oh my goodness, Coach Alice, another gem. Wow. This is so powerful. I know we have so many opportunities for women now. Women are advancing here in Atlanta, where I am. We have so many professional women, professional Black women. And I've been in these boardrooms with women sometimes pounding the table or shouting or thinking that is how to get your point across. And I love what you said about when you take on those masculine gestures, when you think that you can be as loud as the men or be as vulgar as the men or, take on their mannerisms, what ends up happening is they see you as a competition. They see you as a threat. So instead of becoming part of their group, you're actually pushed further away. And to your point, when there's a time when they can prove that you're not as strong as you think you are, they will do it for the whole world to see. And unfortunately, that's happening in real time. That is so, so good. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, three more questions for me, and then we're going to take you all's questions.
Yes.
I would love for you to describe, if you could have it your way, what does your vision, what do you hope to happen? What do you want in the world? I guess in the space that you affect with femininity.
I have a vision of seeing successful, empowered executive women, highly successful business women, having both successful marriages, successful parenting, and successful careers. Because most of the time, successful women in their businesses or in their career have to sacrifice either their marriage or their parenting. My dream is to have women who are empowered and happy both in their social and professional space.
I love that. That's amazing. The best of both worlds. And it can be done if, like we say, you approach it with balance. You can have your dreams and your goals, but still maintain your softness. All right. So, Coach Alice, I know a little bit about the work that you do, but can you share with the audience the services that you provide? I know I've signed up to take your dining course, but tell us how you help the women that work with you.
I help by coaching. I have, as I said, I'm an image and etiquette consultant. I coach, I train either online, like what you're going to take. I have self-paced programs. I also have one-on-one program where you can jump in on a Zoom and then we pursue a program. I have a program called Elevate Program. This is a C-suite program to help women improve their image, presence, and presentation skills so that they become more appealing and convincing in their professional space. I have a program called Shifted Me to help women shift their mindset, their belief system, embody femininity so that they become successful in their relationships and also in their professional space. I have fine dining etiquette classes that I offer either online or in person. I have a self paced program that you can buy and follow through on your own. And I also organize afternoon tea so that women can meet and network. I also organize feminine retreats to help women have moments to talk about themselves. I invite different coaches and other professionals that work in the field of women so that we can have a conversation around the things that we need to learn and improve on.
such an amazing catalog and variety of services. So I am very excited about the dining course that I'm going to take. You all know I have a cooking channel, so I have one question left, but I'm going to slip in a part two, if you would, about the dining. There may be a misconception that the elegant dining or the dining etiquette comes from more of a European perspective. And in the US, it's Black History Month, and I want to expose my audience to so many different facets of femininity. Can you talk to us about dining etiquette maybe being universal and why it's important?
Fine dining, number one, is not what fork and what knife and what glass. Fine dining is mostly building good rapport, being able to build good rapport, being able to win somebody's heart, either socially or professionally. Fine dining is a platform for you to build interestingness. It's not just to eat, but it is a platform that we have. It's like an entry point or a landing page to make a person build trust with us. And it can work both in professional space when we go for business dining. It can also build good rapport for romantic space if you're trying to date. It can also build good rapport when you're trying to grow your network or when you're trying to build your social circles. So fine dining is not just for trying to imitate the West, as many people think. It is a platform and a strategy actually that you can use as a woman who wants to leverage in her social circles.
That is so, so good. I love that. Like you say, it's almost like one of the tools in our tool belt when you talked about us being consistent. So when you think about the word that describes you, if I say that I want to be an elegant woman, in addition to how I dress and how I speak and how I write, there should be an elegant way of eating so that I can win people's hearts and use it as a platform to build rapport and connection. That is amazing. So you all, we're coming up to my last question for Coach Alice. We've got about 20 more minutes with her. If you all have questions for Coach Alice, please put them in the chat. I have Ebony's going to come up next. So my last question was, how can we follow you and support you inside Africa, outside Africa? Where do you connect with people who want to work with you?
Oh, okay. I'm a global coach. Of course, I have a website that we mentioned, www.elevatewithalice.com. I will pass across also my email that you can write if you want to have a discovery call with me so that I take you through the courses and the programs that I offer. I can also collaborate with other international coaches to really pass across this type of femininity in women. I collaborate in courses, in talks, engagement. I can come in your event. I can come in your masterclass. Those are ways to collaborate. I offer one-on-one coaching. I offer cohort as well. I have a cohort coming up in May, and I have clients from all over the world. So I invite people to really improve themselves, especially women who want to add value to themselves so that they can serve the world better.
So good, and absolutely part of investing in my journey. I want to share that with you all. So I'm so honored to have Coach Alice here. So we do have a question from Ebony. She asked, was there a certain age that you started to challenge yourself to become more feminine?
Yes, when I turned 35, when I turned 35, that's the moment I said no more dwelling into hardship. And I decided to improve on myself, rewire my mindset, rewire my belief system so that I can now start embracing is embracing who I was born to be. There's sometimes an identity that we fetch from adversities that we go through, and we tend to think that is who we are. You are not the things that happen to you. You are not the traumatizing events that happen to you. You are not the betrayal and fight that happen to you. Those are layers of heart. Those are layers that you choose to shield yourself with, but those are not your true identity. Your true identity is that softer part that you're trying to protect. Femininity, embracing femininity, is to cut off all those layers that you have shielded yourself with, and then allow that softer part to come out and showcase the beauty of you.
So good. I absolutely love that. Thank you, Ebony, for the question. Let us know if you all have any other questions for Coach Alice. One of the things that you said, as far as you being 35 when you decided to be intentional about femininity, that's one of my favorite things about this feminine journey. I'm 48. I've shared, I've been married before and we've all lived life, but I love that this is a quality that never ages. We've seen women in their 50s and 60s and 70s that are still very elegant, and I love that it's timeless, and no matter where you are, whether you're young or middle aged or an older woman, you can embrace that femininity that's inside of all of us. I love that. Would you add anything to that?
Yes, that's absolutely the absolute value of being a feminine woman. There is no age that is a determinant age that, oh, oops, I'm past femininity. So you anytime at any age you choose to come back home in your essence, you will be feminine and you will enjoy the feminine attributes at any age you will be, at 60, at 40, at 70. There is no missing out on being a feminine woman. Or there is no say it's too late for me. What do I have to what am I saving? I'm already gone. I'm already too old. The moment you choose to tune in your feminine power, that's when you will start living effortlessly.
I love that. We have a comment here from Vel. She says, I struggle decorating my home. A woman is supposed to create a feminine, peaceful home, and my decorating skills are not great. I struggle with this too. Having two boys, I feel like sometimes the home can get very utilitarian. Would you have any advice for those of us who struggle?
I don't think this is a determinant of femininity. You might just be not very developed. Decorating is a skill. You might not have that skill developed. What I would advise is to have a functional, clean space other than just decorating. And then if you want to decorate, then you learn how to make, and decoration has more of creating harmony, repetition, palettes, color that embrace each other, patterns that embrace each other. Personality expression also comes in. So that is also a skill that you can learn. That does not determine if you're feminine or not. But if you have clutter in your home, then you are masculine. A feminine woman has a sense of contentment that few things, yes, few things, a decluttered personality, that you have a sense of contentment. You are contented with the little that you have. You don't have to have a lot of things to feel validated. When you are a woman with a lot of things, you have 20, 30 handbags, you have, I don't know, 100 pairs of shoes. That is a sense of masculinity. That's an
That's an
indicator
indicator.
of a person who is masculine.
Oh my goodness. I think I just got my feelings hurt, but we are here to learn.
Yes, yes.
Wow. So being feminine, I've heard this before. We really should show appreciation and be grateful. And I love what you said about a feminine quality is having contentment with a few things. And when we have clutter, in our home, and we all have a closet, a room, a drawer, maybe a garage. And I know in the Western world, especially, this fast paced consumer culture, we think we need multiples. And sometimes we open cabinets and things are falling out. But you said that is a masculine trait. And it makes sense because that is showing almost like competition. I can have more, I can acquire more, I can do more. I know
Trying,
Vel is
trying,
saying the same thing.
trying to find validation in possessions. You're trying to find validation in having more. And the true validation that you need is I am more. I am more, not I have more. When I am more, I can pass any situation. I can navigate any situation. I don't need 5, 6 necklaces to feel elegant. I don't need 30 inches hair to feel elegant. I can still be elegant with my bold hair. I can still feel elegant and presentable with or without makeup. I don't need the 3D lashes to feel makeup. I don't need 10, 15 pairs of shoes to feel elegant. I don't need 20 designer bags to feel elegant. I just need to look presentable. So when I am more other than I have more.
So much wisdom here. That right there, Belle is clapping too. I love that. I don't need more because I am more. And I think if we allow it to sting at
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
but also help us to purge and be more intentional about what we acquire. And do we really need this? Or do we have enough? Are we content enough? Are we appreciative enough? And I think that will show more gratitude because when you're not always buying something, more, like you said, more hair, more lashes, more designer labels, when you do get something nice, you will cherish it and you'll appreciate it because it's not one of 35 things that you have. Vel says, yes, I am more rather than I have more. That is a word. So, in our last few moments, if you all have any questions for Coach Alice, now is the time you can ask. She is coming to us. It is her Friday night. It is almost 10 p.m. in Kenya. So I am so grateful that you made yourself available to talk to us. And I'm so glad that I found you. Do you ever come to the U.S.? I'll have to meet you one day.
I would love to come. I would love to plan and come in December. Yeah. Um, this is also another thing that we need to learn from being personal brands, like women of high personality and high regards that we have seen. I happen to learn the late Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth. This lady has worn one single nail polish throughout her life. That was her signature, and she can afford nail polish every single hour if she wants to. There are women that we know. If I say, for example, Michelle Obama, the first image that is going to come to your face right now is the woman that we have known throughout in the Senate and then throughout in the State House with a bob hair. That's the perception, the image that comes immediately. Though nowadays she has been changing her hair, enjoying her her retreat time, but the image that the perception she has given is that bob hair. Why, when you're trying to build a personal brand that leads perception, you maintain that consistent appearance. Consistent appearance is what builds image in people's perception. When we talk about, let me show you another. This is how people build strong personal brand. You stay consistent on how you show up. Let me show you another lady. She's not a feminine woman. I'm just showing an example on how to build a consistent personal brand that lead perception of who you are, that speak about your personality. Let's talk about Helen DeGeneres. When I say Ellen DeGeneres, can you tell me the image that comes to your head? Maggie, would you describe her?
Yes. So when I think of Ellen DeGeneres, I imagine her with the short haircut, kind of either unisex or masculine clothes, like with a blazer. She usually has some type of pants or jeans on, sneakers. She's, fun, kind of silly. I know she was the comedian, very minimal makeup, but you're right. She has had a consistent personal brand, and we've known her 20, I don't know how many years.
Mhm. And when you say that, it is exactly how she's going to show up. And when you open the TV today, 10 years from now, she's going to show up like that. And what does that build? Not only it lead perception of her personality, her character, but also it builds trust because you know you are going to see her again and again like that. And whatever she will say, it will be easy for you to understand and accept it because she has consistently shown how she is. Psychologically, it affects our decision making to purchase or to do things that those people influence us to do because they have been consistently showing up the same way. You see that? And when you are a feminine woman trying to build uh, a personal brand that lead perception, you have to consistently show up the way you show up. For example, if you go on my social media, you can scroll throughout. I'm consistently showing up the way I am. If you happen to come one day and you find me with a blonde hair, with three necklaces and a bold makeup and all that, you will think of a minute and is this Alice? That's why I tell women who want to embrace their femininity to choose a personal style that reflects the personality that they want to pass across. In that way, you are going to build approachability, you are going to become more convincing, and it is not going to take too much time for people to know who you are and your preferences. And which is very hard for masculine women because they always change hair, they always change how they dress, they always change how they show up. So you can't easily know who they are and what they like. You see the difference?
I absolutely see the difference. Oh my goodness, Coach Alice, you have taught us so much today because I have heard that when women change their appearance so drastically over and over, it reflects chaos. And one of the first things that you said is, as a feminine woman, we should have an ease and a fluidity about us. I absolutely love that. There is so much here that we have learned from you today. I want to respect your time. I am so incredibly grateful. I hope to come to Kenya one day and see the Maasai and see the landscape. The closest I've been is South Africa. I went on safari and it changed my life. It is absolutely beautiful, but I want to come to East Africa. I'm going to give you the final words before we close out. Any last message or anything you want to tell the class before we dismiss?
I would love to really tell women who are going to hear even this afterwards to say it's your time. The time is now for you to embrace ease. The time is now to stop patronizing hardship. The time is now to reverse the hardship that has happened to you. The time is now to give yourself a chance embrace softness. The time is now to also tap into your full potential. The time is now to allow God to use you and your talent to become a multiplier, to become a nurturer, to become a divine helper, not only for the people around you, but for the humanity in general. I didn't know 10 years from 10 years from now, I didn't know that today I would be a feminine coach. When I was in my masculine, I didn't know that I will ever be a feminine coach. When I was in my highest masculine, I didn't know that today I will be having a show with Maggie speaking about softness. So if it was possible for me, if it was possible for Maggie, and for many other women that you have seen transformed, who have unveiled their softer, their softer side, it can also be you. And it is possible, and you will not lose. Another element that I should add is being a feminine woman, it's not going to make you, uh, it's not going to deprivate you become excellent in any other area that you're working. In fact, I make more money as a feminine woman than what I used to make in my masculine in my masculine phase, because you are fluid, because you are a multiplier, you are also able to multiply your income in a smart way, not in hardship. And thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Would you please tell me how to say thank you in the which language is it, and just how do I say thank you?
So in Swahili, it says asante.
Asante, that's so close to Ashanti, my family in Ghana is Ashanti people. Oh my goodness. So, Asante, I know it is your Friday night and weekends are for family. So, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, Coach Alice. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please go support her on Instagram. She's on social media. She's also at elevatewithalice.com. And until the next time, everyone, goodbye.